My name is Alexandra Santos, and I have made a short clip on sexism. I asked 8 different people, 4 boys and 4 girls, the same 10 questions. It starts with, do you believe you are sexist? The second question, have you ever made a sexist comment? Was it towards a man, a woman, or both? Have you ever feel like you are not capable of performing part of your role because of your gender? Have you ever had sexist or crude remarks, jokes, or gestures towards you or anyone you know? Has anyone ever told you were employed for the way you look rather than your skills, knowledge, or abilities? If yes, care to explain? Have you ever had your views not been listened to until they are restated by a man? If yes, how did you feel? Have you ever responded to everyday sexism in the workplace? Do you feel as if though movies or shows come out sexist? If yes, how so? What positions do you think a woman can fill in society today if it can range from big to small? And if you haven't raised the issue of sexist behavior at work or any public place with anyone or haven't taken any action after witnessing sexist behavior, why not? Each individual that I ask today are going to have different answers. It's going to be a different perspective of what they see in sexism. Today with men, it's not shown as much as it is with women. Women are viewed as if they're incapable of doing the position that they've been put into. And they're always viewed to do something smaller than they should. What is your name and what is your age?
My name is Sandy Pierre-Ney and I'm 19 years old.
Do you believe you are a sexist?
No.
Have you ever made a sexist comment? Was it towards a man or a woman or both?
Both.
Have you ever feel like you were not capable of performing part of your role because of your gender?
Never.
Have you ever had a sexist or crude remark, jokes, or gestures towards you or anyone you know?
Yes.
And how so?
I think, well, I was an intern at a corporate asset management firm, and we did a group project, and the leaders were always voted men for our projects. And to me, that was sexist because there was not one woman who voted for a group leader.
Good. Has anyone ever told you were employed for the way you look rather than your skills, knowledge, or abilities? If yes, care to explain?
Never.
Have your views not been listened to until they are restated by a man? If yes, how did you feel?
Never.
Have you ever responded to everyday sexism in the workplace?
Yes.
And how so?
I've spoken up. I've used my voice and said, listen, this isn't right. There are women in the group. Our voices are just as powerful as the boys in our group, and it's not fair that we're both sitting at the same table, but we're not getting the same rights.
Perfect. Do you feel as if though movies or shows come out sexist? If yes, how so?
I believe they do because in movies, women are always portrayed as the weaker characters. They're not given, major roles or as main actors. And even in music videos or what we see on social media, men are always used for their sex appearance, not for their brains or what they're capable of doing.
What positions do you think a woman can fill in society today? It can range from big to small.
I think women can do anything in society as long as we're given the opportunity, the same opportunities that a man is given. There's nothing that we can't do.
Perfect. And then last but not least, if you haven't raised the issue of sexist behavior at work or any public place with anyone or haven't taken any action after witnessing sexist behavior, why not?
I'm not one to keep quiet when I think something is wrong, but I do think that a lot of women don't raise awareness to the way they feel because they're afraid of being blackmailed, or they're afraid that their voices won't be heard, or they're just afraid that they won't know what to say.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You did good. What is your name and what is your age?
Hi, my name is Flavio and I am 21 years old.
Do you believe you're a sexist?
Honestly, I would say no, but I would say I've had sexist behavior sometimes.
Have you ever made a sexist comment? Was it towards a man or a woman or both?
Both.
Have you ever feel like you were not capable of performing part of your role because of your gender?
Well, I used to believe that part of the reason why I couldn't cook is because I'm a guy. When I was a kid, not now. When I was a kid, because I used to always be good at like cleaning, organizing myself, but cooking, no. And I always used to see my mom cook, and my father never did. So I thought part of the reason was that. But as I grew up, you just learn that it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, of course, you start to understand. Have you ever had a sexist or crude remarks, jokes, or gestures towards you or anyone you know?
I'm sorry, what was the first question? The first part of it?
Have you ever had a sexist or crude remark,
Okay.
jokes, or gestures towards you or anyone you know?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
And how so?
I mean, I'm an international student, so I came from Cape Verde. So in Cape Verde, a lot of people still have this closed mentality where it's like, the country recently got its independence. So the man is the one that mostly like works, has an actual job that has like an income, and woman takes care of the household. So there's still a lot of those that like those closed mentalities where man's supposed to work and doesn't do anything at home, and just woman. So it's reasonable to say that there's a lot of sexist comment that I've heard to people that I know, especially girls in my home country. But I even see that here in the United States, somewhat, not as much, because here people's like always skeptical about what they say. They have to be careful with it, but you still see it sometimes.
Of course. Has anyone ever told you were employed for the way you look rather than your skills, knowledge, or abilities? If yes, care to explain? If no, we can carry on to the next question.
With me, if that ever happened with me no. By the way, but I would say that again, my high school year, especially because my dad was a teacher, a lot of the things there for me, for example, like asking professors for favors or getting some information, I would say because of my father's influence, I've got a lot of those like kind of like given, but being hired in a position or a job just because of my looks now.
Have your views not ever been listened to until they're restated by someone else? If yes, how did you feel?
Is that my views?
Yes.
I don't quite get this one.
So have your views not been listened to until they're restated by a man, someone else, like another woman? If yes, how did you feel?
No, never had that before.
Have you ever responded to everyday sexism in the workplace?
Have I responded? No, I mean I did with racism, which actually recently got me in trouble with a coworker, but with sexism, no.
Do you feel as if though movies or shows come out sexist? If yes, how so? If no, continue on.
I mean nowadays, like watching a lot of these movies, especially you can see a lot of feminist. But I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually good. You see a lot of more equality in the woman or man's role in a movie. But back then, I would say yeah, because most of the superheroes, if you look at the Marvel's book, for example, it's mostly just men. Like recently, then they have started making movies about girls as well. But I would say nowadays, not much. But like I would say, like 10 years ago, probably it used to be a lot.
What positions do you think a woman can fill in society today? It can range from big to small, meaning a desk job or even working in political areas.
I would say like any educated person nowadays would say that women can fill any job. I mean, just look at Brazil. They had recently had a woman president, and in the United States, I mean Hillary Clinton almost won the presidency. I mean, as you can tell, like those are one of the highest positions that back then. People used to think that women could not lead a country, because they consider women to be emotional, they can't handle all the stress and can't take like reasonable decisions. But now I don't think there's a job that you can say women cannot do, because they can do basically everything, probably even better than men, because they're much more careful and cautious on what they do.
Perfect. And last question, if you haven't raised the issue of sexist behavior at work or any public place with anyone, or haven't taken any action after witnessing sexist behavior, why not?
I mean, I've seen some, but you never see anything, because one, because the jobs that I'm into here, like in school, and also the position that I am, I don't want to, last thing I want to get is like get into someone's business. And especially here, people, whenever you're like, if you're trying to say something for the good, they're like, oh, mind your business, they don't want you to like be part of it. I don't know. I've seen some, but I've never taken action, never done anything. Although I know I should have. But I know, judged by my personality, if I start getting into something I really get into, like arguing, so I don't want to get into any trouble, so I'll just leave it, or probably just make a small comment, letting them know that that's not right. But I will never get into take like a serious action, like a lot of people would say, oh, bring that person to the deans or something like that. I was just probably like a small comment.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is that okay?
And this concludes the end of the video. In this video, I wanted to show that sexism can occur with anyone, man or woman, or at any age, 19, 50. So you just need to understand that although sexism hasn't occurred to you yet and hasn't occurred in the workplace or in society that you haven't even seen, it's probably happened to someone that's sitting on to the left of you or to the right of you. In society today, we don't really focus on what we really say. I know for a fact that I've said something that came off a bit sexist, but I don't believe I'm sexist. It was just a joke. And that's what we feel, that our jokes are what's being covered up by a sexist remark. And it's feeling like you're not doing any harm, but it can come into an offense with somebody else that has been listening to what you've been saying. So I'm not saying just be careful of what you say, but I'm just saying sexism does occur in everyday life. So you just have to understand and seek your way through.